Happy Friday, Sooner Nation. Welcome back to Sooner Surge Double Trouble. Thanks for already being on, dropping the comments. Appreciate the comments and the compliments about the program. But kudos to you all for always being on here each and every night, joining us. Tonight, we do have a guest that will be joining us a little different in the program because of the guest that we'll have on here that will take 15 minutes or so. That's going to give us a little insight into Zac Alley, Jay.
Yeah, going to get us a little more insight into Zac Alley and what Sooner fans can expect from him when he gets to Norman. So excited about that, 9:15. But a lot of things to talk about today. Some portal buzz going around today, Jeremy.
There is. Maybe even a little different than I thought, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Tanya, thanks so much. As always, Tanya. Appreciate you. Yes, we are live, Okie Lawn Guy. Thanks, Tanya, again. Appreciate it.
Tanya, appreciate it. And we are live, Okie Lawn Guy, and we have a special guest joining us here in about 15 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, Jeremy, so it sounds like Jake Roberts visiting Oklahoma this weekend. Talked about him, tight end from Baylor. I would think good things would come from that. That's just my thoughts. You saw some OU players that were in the portal are now at other schools. DJ Graham at Utah State. Bunkley Shelton went to
Georgia Southern.
So, hey Jay, it's new tonight. It's not going to be every night at 9. Sometimes it'll be 9:30. But we have a guest. It's not Ted Roof.
Ted Roof. We tried to get him on to read. It was the night before Christmas, after Christmas, but couldn't reach that one. But we are going to have a guest on here to really give us more insight about Zac Alley.
Hey, Corey, Russellville will probably be the first of February before I get out there. I'll let you know, though. Hey, Corey, just send me an email. Send me an email.
Hey, Jay.
It's not Zac Alley.
It's not Zac Alley, but it's someone who's going to give us some insight into him. Hey, Ron says Alley is a co-DC and a linebacker coach, right? Well, it hasn't even been announced by the university. So
the university has not announced it yet, but he will be coaching linebackers. I would be shocked if he wasn't.
He will be coaching linebackers. Chad Gamble, thanks for being on tonight. Matt
Wells. Yes, he did. He did take a job.
Matt Wells is at Kansas State. He's coaching quarterbacks there. Sooner Legends podcast. Mike, thanks so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate the super. Needed a BV mindset at that position. And listen, stay on tonight because we're going to hear about Zac Alley from someone who has some insight into him.
Yeah. Guy that's been covering him for the last 2 years, so should have some good insight. Hey, Okie Lawn, Jacksonville State, listen, you can say that about a lot of things, about a lot of guys that have made the jump. But if he is who we all think he is and what we've heard about him, I think this is a great hire. Now, Jeremy said last night, home run hire.
I still do.
And I don't think you can say that yet. I just don't.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen anything to lead me to believe otherwise. And you know what? Whoever made the comment, I think it was Okie Lawn Guy. Lincoln Riley was at East Carolina.
Yeah. Where was Dan Lanning before Georgia?
Yeah. I mean, someone at some point, you got to take that step. That's a good question, Jeff. And Hunter can maybe help us out with this. Hunter, as always, big kudos to Hunter for running the chat. He may hop on later as well, but we've lost a lot of analysts, and right now they haven't been replaced. But here would be my mindset on that. You can replace those at any time. I don't think there's a rush necessarily because of the amount of coaching they can do is not really much. They're more of scheming and analysts of what they're seeing. So I think they can really take their time on that, Jay.
Yeah, I agree. And Selwyn, thanks again for joining us tonight. Hey, do you guys think the defensive assistants were expecting to be promoted? Listen, I'm not there at the program. I don't know, but I would be shocked if this wasn't at least brought up to the other coaches that they were going to go this route. I mean, we already know that Zac Alley has previous relationships with Miguel Chavis, Todd Bates. He knows them. So I'm sure the only guy Brandon Hall. I know Brandon Hall used to be a defensive coordinator. But listen, nobody on here knows, and I don't know anybody's career path of what they want to do. nobody knows who wants to be DC from that staff, or if they want to be DC. Nobody knows. So I think that's a hard question to answer.
And James,
and I'm not trying to skip the question.
James, you're right. Off season, not as important as during the season. And Hunter dropped the two guys' name, Lowry and them in the chat. Right there.
They brought
Jack
in a
Lowry,
quarterback coach,
Ty Hatcher. Okay. I like everything that I've seen, I've read, I've watched, I've listened to. I really like the Zac Alley direction. And I think it's the right direction. And we're going to hear a little bit about him tonight from our special guest here tonight. So make sure you're staying on this.
Hey, Hunter, they brought in a guy that's going to help coach quarterbacks as an analyst.
Yeah, he already said that. Lowry and Hatcher.
Yeah, so I think that's when they say quarterback coach. I would think the analyst is going to be.
No, because here's the deal. The quarterback coach, the analyst can't do there's rules that they can't do.
I know, but they're going to also be involved with the quarterback is what I'm saying.
They will be involved with the quarterbacks, but Seth Luttrell is the quarterback coach. Yes.
Kim Hurst, you're right. Kim Hurst, you're right. I think they do a lot of things together. They talk. I think it's a very probably family type situation there in Oklahoma.
How old's Brandon Hall?
Brandon Hall, maybe low 40s.
That's what I was thinking. So I think these guys are just going to love being around each other. I think that's a lot. The chemistry with the coaches. And look, anyone on here who works knows that who you work with, who you work with can make or break things. And I think what he's creating here, what?
I agree.
Yeah, so I think that's a lot of it too.
Hey, JT Rushing, I've heard the same name, Topher, as an analyst possibly from A&M.
Is that the Rushing that played at Owasso?
From A&M. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that, Jeremy.
I think that was Rusty Rushing.
What have you heard about a special teams coach? Right now it's Nunez. Now, I will say Zac Alley was special teams coach of the year before.
He has been.
Not that he's going to have any say in that. I would think he has zero say in the special teams, right?
Yeah, I don't expect him to have a lot of say because he's going to have his hands full as the DC. But obviously,
did I say JT? I'm
TJ.
Sorry. I might have said JT.
Rushing is from Paul's Valley. TJ Rushing. Yeah, I'm thinking Rusty Rushing. I think played at Owasso. There may be a relation there. I don't know. Jay. Yeah, Rusty Rushing was from Owasso. That's the guy.
Correct.
I remember. Yeah,
he was a ball.
Now, Jay Tarquin has not committed.
No.
Shocked by that?
A little bit.
Same.
Now, it sounds like Lance Heard from On3 reported Lance Heard, the 5-star from LSU, interested in visiting Oklahoma and Tennessee. And let me say this. About anything in the portal. I said it a few days ago. You need the first visit, period. Especially with a guy like him. You need the first visit. If you have the third or fourth visit, you're not going to see him. He's not going to step foot on your campus.
Yeah. And
not happening.
It sounds like it's Tennessee and OU right now.
Yeah, right now, but there's going to be other teams probably jump in there, but you got to get the first visit. Have to.
5-star guy out of high school.
Correct.
He's got the goods.
They could use one of those two guys. I agree.
Yeah.
What about the Kansas transfer?
I thought maybe
he has a pretty good relationship with Emmett Jones, I think.
That's what I had heard, I'd seen, I'd read. We'll
and there it is.
It's been right slow.
There. Right, Topher just said it. He visits Tennessee tomorrow. He probably won't make the OU visit.
Hey, yes, Jonathan, they are after him. Heard he was on campus as well. I fully expected a commitment today. We don't have one.
What Okie Lawn guy?
Okie Lawn guy. I don't know what you're talking about. Throwing against the wall and seeing if it sticks. All right, hire and recruit some elite guys.
They've recruited extremely well.
Todd Bates is a great coach.
I'll say this: where they've kind of missed out, I think, is the portal. They haven't really hit home runs in the portal. They have been recruiting. The 2024
class, and like Hunter just says, it's 4 straight top 10 classes. So I don't know what kind of eliteness you want, but
he agrees.
Agrees with what?
I guess probably that recruiting well, not in the portal. Hey, at Tennessee. Topher knows it, man. Topher's all over it, dropping the inside.
I mean, you would think if they land Adams, maybe they don't get Heard, or vice versa.
Possibly. All I know is anybody from Kansas offensive line, I'll take them. They looked really good last year. Their offensive line is good, really good.
Their offensive line is really good. I agree, Jay.
No, they played together as a unit, and they were really good. Yes, Kim, you're right. Best
Centuries,
defensive line.
Probably not centuries, but yes, best in a long time.
There he is, Eric Bloomquist, the bomb. He dropped the bomb.
Is that Eric?
I believe that's Eric. Hey, appreciate you. Excited about the new O-line players coming in. Oh, yeah, the recruiting class they got coming in, the O-line.
Hey, if you are not following Daniel Akinkumi and the vlogging that he's doing, it is awesome. Get on there and follow it.
Hey, did you hear him say Boomer Sooner in English?
Oh, yeah, that's got to
be
on,
Can you do it
record somewhere. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Hey,
I always wish I could talk in English.
Jay, right now, this is a heart, and I want to ask the bomb this question. Thanks for the super. Appreciate
Thanks, Eric.
Much.
Appreciate you.
Hey, can you tell me, out of this O-line players coming in, Jay, Eric, all you guys on here, who, if you had to pick one right now that would be the best by the time they leave OU, who is it going to be? And I'll start. I actually think it's going to be Akinkumi.
It might be. Right now, I would probably lean. Are you talking about from the 24 class?
Yes.
I would say Eugene Brooks.
Jay, are you sure the bomb is Eric?
I thought it was Eric. Maybe I'm wrong.
Eric says Brooks. Jay says Brooks. Sooner Legend says EPL. Now, EPL is not an early enrollee, though, correct?
I'm not sure on that.
Hunter will know.
Ron Brown, you can't say there's no chance on Daniel. I mean,
it is Eric. Yeah, Eric Blomquist. Didn't get McKinley. That's disappointing, but I think we're fine on the D-line, honestly.
Not early enrollee. There it is.
Yeah, he's
not.
We
got 3 minutes. 3 minutes till we joined by our guest.
Brooks and Akinkumi probably. Oh yeah, he's at a private school. Yeah, Brooks and Akinkumi would be the two maybe right now that you would say have a better chance. But I don't know. EPL is highly touted. Highly touted.
Correct.
And Hunter thinks all three are NFL guys. Yeah, Brooks is stonewalling everyone, guys. He is absolutely stonewalling everyone. Absolutely. EPL's a beast. He's running track. That's awesome to see. Hey, and not just that. Did you see the speed on Akinkumi? How quickly he was getting out on the screen passes, which, by the way, Seth Luttrell loves to run running back screens.
Hey, and let me just say, hey, as we get our guests on here in a minute, if you have questions you want to ask, Hunter's going to be filtering through them. He'll ask them if they're really good, maybe. But we got some questions for him. So we'll be joining here in about 2 minutes from special guest. Akinkumi has a future in opera if football is what James says.
Yeah, so bear with us because we want to ask him some questions as well. But we'll try to put a few of yours in the chat if we have time. Mark, we are early again because we have a special guest about to join us to give us a little insight into Zac Alley.
Yeah, we thought we would do this on the live instead of just a video for our viewers here, for y'all that are on here every night. So looking
to bring you guys some extra stuff. Appreciate you.
What's up, Chad Gamble, new member? Appreciate
Chad
it.
And Hunter, maybe you can drop that in the chat. Chad Gamble, thanks so much. It's a $4.99. Hunter will drop it in the chat. Appreciate anyone who wants to be a Sooner Surge Unlimited. Thanks so much, Chad.
There's a lot more things going to be coming for the members only, so just keep that in mind. Mike says, my question would be, what defensive scheme plans on using? We are asking that, Mike. That's a great question. Great question.
Yeah, so should be here any minute. There's the link for the Sooner Surge Unlimited member. Thanks so much already to Tanya, to Eric, to Chad Gamble for being a member, Tanya and Eric for the supers, and we had another one. It was a Sooner Legends podcast. Appreciate it so much. Yeah, Brian,
it was a big hire, Brian.
I said a home run hire.
Yeah, but I know you said home run.
When does the school announce this, Jay? When is the school going to announce it?
I thought it would have been today.
Here we go.
The hold up.
Yeah.
Unless it's for, just waiting on the contract and everything. All right, guys, we have a special guest joining us right now. Thomas Ashworth covers Jacksonville State for the Anniston Star. Thomas, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you being on. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties going on, but
no, you're good, man. Appreciate you. Hey, just kind of tell all the Sooner fans here about Zac Alley and who Zac Alley is.
Yeah, I mean, big question. I mean, he's obviously a young guy. I don't think he's 30 yet. He might be, but obviously a young guy. I've seen a lot of people say, like, why is he coming from Jacksonville State? Why did Oklahoma hire this guy? But I mean, this is a guy that, he obviously worked with Brett, and this is a guy that is just smart, and he really made a name for himself at ULM, came to Jack State with Rich Rod. This Jack State defense Rich Rod really said, this is a defense that's going to be undersized. We're not fast enough. We're really small. We're not strong enough. And I don't know what's going to happen. If we have a winning record, cool. And this is a guy that came in and he led, this defense pretty much led in almost every single statistic at some point in the season. They were in the top 50 in the country. I mean, just looking at the numbers, I mean, Jacksonville State finished 7th nationally in tackles for loss yards, 15th in tackles for loss in the nation, 8th in turnovers gained, 10th in sacks, things like that. Nobody was really expecting this. I mean, not even Rich Rod, honestly. But this is a guy that just he can put together a really good defense with whatever he has, really.
Yeah, and again, thanks for joining us, Thomas. What about, you mentioned, he's worked with Brent Venables and actually spent a lot of time. I saw an interview when he had first gotten there, how he talked about almost like a father figure that Brent Venables is to him. Maybe talk about, I mean, is this BV's clone? Is this like, is he pretty much BV, a young BV?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak to that, but obviously this is a guy that's kind of found his way up. And I think that, all the traits are there. I think that this is a really good fit. I mean, I think that there's kind of some of the same ideologies as well. I mean, Zach's really big on like kind of big brother, little brother type of things as far as leadership, getting guys ready, taking freshmen, making them kind of interact with the seniors, things like that. And I think that a lot of that goes hand in hand with what Brent does as well. Just kind of that leadership dynamic, and that's really what he values. He values the person as opposed to the player, obviously the player, but he really looks at the person.
Yeah. What about defensive scheme? I know obviously he's probably multiple and runs a lot. I know their run defense was extremely good this past year, but just kind of tell us, does he play a lot of zone in the back half or man, or does he just mix it up? Just kind of a little about a scheme.
Yeah, this is a guy that if you look at the numbers, I think pretty much every one in the 2 deep is pretty busy. He likes to rotate guys in and out and in and out. He plays a lot of man. I'd say a lot. But I mean, he's going to get his defensive backs really busy and push them up. Oddly enough, there was a couple of times where a defensive back led the team in tackles. I think just a few times. There's one defensive back specifically that he kind of utilized as more of he's going to come in off the edge, make the tackle as opposed to playing back. And he did that pretty much every chance he could, and using that defensive back as almost like another linebacker. Because he's going to bring a lot of pressure. Obviously, you saw that in the run game, especially against a Conference USA team and things like that. But still, I mean, this is he really likes his man, and he really likes to keep his defensive backs busy. But also in that same time, he really likes to pretty much try and play everybody that he can. So just looking at the stat sheets, I mean, you can just look and see pretty much everyone on the team stayed busy.
Yeah, and hey, what about like? I know CE, someone in our chat here has a question. It's something I wonder too, because nowadays you see some coordinators up in the booth, some guys down on the sideline. What is Zac Alley? Is he always on the sideline? Is he a sideline guy, or is he a guy that's in the booth?
Yeah, he's on the sidelines every game. Rich Rod runs the offense. He's the play caller on offense, which is kind of rare, but he says, I'm not touching the defense. He completely hands it over to Zach. He's told us before, I don't touch them. That's completely Zach's thing, and we trust him completely. So he had full control over Jacksonville State's defense play calling this season.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Rich Rodriguez in that offense, they're probably top up-tempo offense in the nation, or one of the top 5, right? They ran a very fast offense, correct?
You'd be right. I mean, this is a team that they ranked first in the country out of 133 in seconds per play. They think that it was under 20 seconds per play. I was watching some of the bowl games. I was like, man, this is going slow. Like this Jacksonville State's so fast. But in that same way, I mean, it really trains the defense well. I mean, the defense has to be on the field for so much of practice and so much of the game. I mean, if there's a 3 and out, it's like 50 seconds, and then the defense has to get back on the field. And talking to them, like some of them are like, "Oh, it's nothing, it's nothing we've done before." But there's a defensive lineman who told me one time, "Man, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm exhausted just because there's 3 and outs, and 50 seconds I have to be back on the field, and 45 seconds I get to take a break." So that's another reason why the defense was so successful.
Yeah, and what about passion, energy? Is he a high energy guy?
Yeah, he's really high energy. I mean, the players really like him. Kind of talking with some of the players, excuse me, as to why they came to Jacksonville State. There were some that obviously followed the staff from ULM to Jacksonville State, but some of them just really like Zac. And some of them even said, you could ask them, why'd you come to Jack State? Their first thing was Zac, and they loved Zac. And I think that it really helps that he's younger. I mean, he's that he's the youngest in the country, I think. At one point he was, and I'm sure that was a draw when he was 27 and players coming in were, from the portal were 2021. He can really connect with him in that way, but he's really high energy. If you just watch him in practice, I mean, he's not going to like scream at or anything. I mean, compared to Rich Rod, everybody's mind, but he's just a really down to earth guy. And the players obviously really like him. I mean, a lot of recruits as well say, I came for Zac, and Zac's really good about, I think he won the portal in a lot of ways, just bringing a lot of defensive guys in. So they really like him, and I think that he can really relate well.
Yeah. Are you surprised at all that he's making this big of a jump from Jacksonville State to a blue blood like Oklahoma? Or kind of did you maybe expect him to make a big jump after this season?
I was kind of surprised it took so long. I know that there were a lot of defensive coordinator vacancies before the Oklahoma one opened. I mean, a ton. But Rich Rod kind of says, he tells his staff, if you're going to make a move, don't make a lateral move. If you're at Jacksonville State, you don't need to go to an App State or to another group of 5, or you don't need to, if you're the defensive coordinator, you don't need to go be the safeties coach at Oklahoma. You need to make a defensive coordinator to a defensive coordinator jump. He's really big on that, but I'm not really too surprised. I mean, this is a well-regarded guy. I mean, he's gotten around. I mean, he was at Boise and he was at ULM. I mean, he knows a lot of people, but I was really surprised that it took so long. I mean, I know that he was one of the hot commodities, just with the way Jacksonville State had found success. So, but yeah, I was surprised it took so long.
Hey, what about, I know in the past he's been known also for special teams. Obviously, he focuses on the linebackers, I think, at Jacksonville State too, as far as position coach. And I would expect that to stay the same. But is he also involved in special teams at all, or is that just kind of in his past?
Yeah, that was mostly in his past. Rich Rod plays a lot of guys that are starters on special teams, and he trains those guys to be good. He wants his best players on special teams. But so a lot of those guys saw some transfer, but I don't think Zac really had too much of a role in that.
Yeah, and hey, last question I have for you, Thomas, is just maybe, I mean, we're going from now Ted Roof at age 60 to Zac Alley at 30, half his age. But tell us maybe about Zac Alley, the recruiter. With how relatable is he? Obviously, I would think just being young is going to probably be a good thing for recruiting these days, but just kind of tell us anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier, but there's a lot of young guys who really relate to him just because he's young and he's obviously excited. I mean, this is a guy that he's in that new era using social media, things like that to kind of beef things up. But he's able to relate. And a lot of the players that we talked to, they've said, if you ask them specifically, what's it like coming with Rich Rod? They say, oh, well, I wanted to be coached by Zac. So they're really excited about being coached by Zac. And I think that he can kind of light a fire under these guys and kind of give them motivation. And I mean, if you look at the stats as well, I think that it's enough motivation to say, look, if you come and you're good and you play and you practice, you're going to see the field. I mean, this is a roster that, like I mentioned before, I think everyone on the 2 deep, even some reserves, saw a lot of time on the field just because they rotate so many guys in and out. And the way that Zac uses his defense, it takes a lot of people. So I think that that's a really big draw for recruits, not just because Zac's a really good recruiter and really nailed the portal this offseason, honestly, but just being able to play under Zac, I think, is really cool.
Awesome, Thomas. Well, I know it's 10:30 where you're at, probably.
Oh no, I'm in Central Time too.
Oh, you're in Central. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm not good geography, so I was wondering if it
I'm
was
not Alley.
time. Yeah, so we want to say thank you so much for just giving us a little insight into Zac Alley. Appreciate you joining the program tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks, Thomas.
All right, y'all take care.
Thanks. And there you have it. That is Thomas Ashworth from Jacksonville State talking to us about Zac Alley. I think some things stood out, and I saw some things in the chat, guys. We did ask a couple of your questions. Appreciate you guys on here. I don't know what all else was said in the chat. I saw something about June Jock to Arkansas from Bobby Wiley and some other things. But no, Dalpois, we did not change time slots. We had a special guest tonight. And yesterday we just went a little longer because of the Ted Roof stuff. But listen, I wasn't surprised by anything Thomas said, Jay, except I'm just even more excited about it. Just to hire because of some things I heard. And one specifically, guys, I'm going to say it. He mentioned how much he likes to play man in the secondary.
I agree.
If you didn't hear that and get excited, like Woody Washington and Gentry and those guys manning up instead of like that excites me a little bit, guys.
Well, and it sounds like also he likes to play a lot of rotation guys, which I think is great for OU because that's kind of what Brent Venables likes to do. And I even think OU could have been better at that last year. And yes, Mark, you asked about a get back coach. He does have a get back coach, I believe. So yes, he's going to be a fiery guy. I love the fact that he's going to be on the sidelines. I think that's a big, and here's why. We talked about it last night. Brent Venables now, when it goes to a TV timeout, he's not over there yelling at the defense probably. It's Zac. Zac's going to be the guy on the sidelines dealing with it. And I think Brent Venables will have his hand in it, but it's not going to be like he's having to be in the linebackers' faces as much. They're going to have Zac Alley there. Yes, he still will, but it's not going to feel like – I think – this is my opinion. I think with Ted Roof, Brent Venables felt like he maybe had to do more than he really needed to because it was Ted Roof and he wasn't ready to do the defense. That's my opinion.
Hey, yeah, and I see people. Will you guys be disappointed if we miss the college football playoff? Absolutely.
I'm always disappointed.
I'm always misses
a playoff. If OU doesn't win a natty, I get disappointed. So yes.
Yeah, BV's not up in the booth. I don't know what that is. Sooner Legends has become a member.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Sooner Surge, Unlimited member, Sooner Legends podcast. Appreciate it. I know you also have a podcast. A lot of historical great facts. Check it out. All the viewers on here. Listen, though.
Hey, you know what else surprised me about what Thomas said?
What?
The fact that he was surprised it took so long for him to leave. Like he said, all those other openings and nobody. That was interesting too.
Yeah, listen, he's been around Terry Bowden and Rich Rodriguez. And the other thing you brought up, Jay, Rich Rodriguez's offense is a top 10 fast-paced offense. So if OU wants to go fast-paced, it sounds like Zac Alley's all for that because he plays dudes. He plays multiple position guy. He brings a lot of guys in. He's not going to not rotate guys in.
And don't forget, 2 years at Jacksonville State. The previous few years at ULM with guess who? Rich Rodriguez. He's been running this with a fast-paced offense for 4 or 5 years. I think he's going to come in and he's going to be kind of like a meeting of the minds with Brent Venables. They're going to be kind of like, I want to use this comparison, but Brent Venables, Mike Stoops, early 2000s. They were kind of two guys, meeting of the minds. They would have different strategies, and it worked well together. I could see this working the same way.
And this is a probably horrible take, what I'm about to say. And I'm going to agree with Brian.
A lot of your takes are horrible, so I won't be surprised by it.
Listen, not saying there's not someone else at OU that can do this. I'm just saying if BB's got, let's say, 8 to 10 years, would be about, if you can from that long, 738, could he be a coach in waiting? I don't know. It depends on, it's a possibility. Now, he may be done by then. I said it last a home hire, but I still even believe it more so. Kim, let's be real while being a fan. Real about what? As far as the playoff, look, they have every single player outside of Bothroyd back on defense. Every last one of them.
Okay, but
and they got a new coordinator who's young, passionate. I think they're going to play outside their mind next year on defense.
Yeah, but I think Kim's right in some aspect. You got to be realistic too.
Oh, she's talking about the chat, maybe.
Oh, okay. I thought. Yeah, Jeremy went robot for a second. You're back though.
Am I back?
You're back. You're fine.
Must be my Wi-Fi. Sorry, guys.
Hey, OU better show improvement defensively, correct?
Oh, it would be a travesty. It would be a travesty if it's not.
Yeah, Damon, I agree. I think this is where you're really going to see an improvement, and I think also in the portal. Let's be honest, guys. OU has not landed many great defensive players out of the portal. I can think of Deshaun McCullough. Is that it? I mean, I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm wrong, Hunter. Maybe you got another one. But we're not talking about guys that are – I mean, Bothroyd was pretty good. But I'm talking about the big fish, great players out of the portal. And it sounds like Trace Ford, I'm not going to consider that a great, huge, big fish out of the portal. He was decent and good. But, yeah, Hunter, I agree. Deshaun, I think, was pretty much it. And so it sounds like this guy, and it's hard to compare one thing, though, because Jacksonville State maybe has to get a lot of their guys from the portal. I mean, you just saw OU, 2 of their players went to smaller schools. And so I think it's a little different at a small school. You can maybe get guys out of the portal easier. I don't know if that makes sense at all, Hunter.
Yeah.
But
can you hear me, Jay?
I can hear you.
Oh,
there we go. Now we are.
I had to get off and get back on again. Yeah, Purple Orca. Playoffs are expectations. Absolutely. This is OU, guys.
Listen, I am not about to sit here and sunshine pump. I'd be happy if OU goes 8-4. Not gonna.
No,
guys,
and Jay,
when OU, you can talk to anybody in my family. When OU loses a game, I walk around the house and say the season's over. I do. I'm disappointed.
Jay, here's the point. You are absolutely wrong, and I'm just going to say it. You're absolutely wrong here in the chat if you're not going to say it's disappointing if OU doesn't make the playoff, because here's what you're actually saying. You're okay with OU not being a top 12 team. The playoff any longer is not 4, guys.
Correct.
It's 12. If it was 4, I would say, okay, that's a tough ask on the first year in the SEC. It's 12. Stop it. OU is a blue blood for a reason. And I'm not sunshine pumping. That's not what I'm doing here.
Kim, listen. I understand new DC, new OC, new quarterback. Let's just be responsible. And here's the deal, though. It's Oklahoma University, guys. And I'm sorry. I wasn't impressed with Ted Roof. I'm kind of happy this happened. Okay?
Hey, I'm going to go off for a second on
a great OC, but
on Okie Lawn, guys. Sorry, but listen.
I'd make a wager right now for that.
Hey, 8-4. If you want to say it's the best they can do, that's not, in my opinion, realistic.
Here's the deal.
It's not a realistic 8-4 best.
Right now, I think right now the ceiling. If you said 10-2 to me, that'd be good.
10-2 would be great, and you're in the playoff.
You'd be in the playoff.
And Mess brings up a good point. Saban had a new OC, new DC, and a new quarterback. And listen, arguably Jackson Arnold's a lot more talented and better, okay, than DG. The OC is going to be new. I agree. But the DC is coming in with a loaded car. It's loaded. It's got every tricked up thing you can have on this defense, guys. And it's third year under a head coach, and every other coach on staff is consistent.
Kim, I agree. That's probably about right. 8-4, 10-2.
I absolutely agree with you, Kim. But Okie Lawn says 8-4 is the best, and he's wrong.
Hey, Tyler, what are you
I don't care about Teddy Lehman. I don't have to ask Teddy Lehman. I don't talk to Teddy Lehman. I don't care about what Teddy Lehman says about blue blood status. OU's a blue blood in football, period.
Correct. Who said they're not?
Okie Lawn guy says they're about to lose their blue blood. Who loses it? How do you lose a blue blood status? Someone removes it from you? Is there a blue blood god somewhere saying you're no longer a blue blood? Come on, Okie Lawn guy.
Is Nebraska a blue blood?
They used to be.
Hunter,
OU is not going to be Nebraska.
Hunter, OU is not going to be Nebraska, bro. Sorry. Not happening.
OU is far from Nebraska.
Not even close.
OU was 2 or 3 plays away this year from being in the playoff.
Hey, and I'll say this. Just go look at OU this year. You guys
are going to get me fired up.
Hey, Jeremy, look at OU this year. How many games was OU not favored in?
And they won that game, Jay.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. If you're favored in every game, you should have a pretty decent record, should you not?
They should have. OU's not – yeah, you're right, Jay. OU's not losing to teams that were better than them this year. There was one, Texas, and they beat them. They lost to 2 teams who were worse.
Welcome back.
They lost to 2 teams who was worse.
And this is correct, Dalpost. You are right. It's been 23 years.
I agree. That's disappointing.
But over the past 15 years, who's won a natty other than Alabama, Georgia, and Clemson? And who am I missing? It's about it. I mean,
hey, Blake, the only question mark on offense.
But
hey, the only question mark on offense is the O-line. Tell me another question mark.
Hey, I think people are taking things the wrong way
right now. Let's go to the schedule. Let's go to the schedule.
Hey, listen, before we do, though, I'm not sitting here saying that OU is going to go 10-2. I'm saying that should be your expectation. That as a fan of Oklahoma, that's what you should be hoping for. Is it not wrong?
Jay, I agree with you. Hey, where's Okie Lawn guys? I did answer my question. Nebraska's no longer a blue blood. Maybe Matt Rule gets him back there, but OU ain't Nebraska.
Hey, Okie Lawn guy. When was the last time Nebraska went to a bowl game? Okay, let's stop talking now, please.
Bobby Redwine, thanks so much. You're always dropping supers on here, and we appreciate you. We appreciate all our viewers, even when we get angry and upset, because we like having conversations, as the bomb says on here. But listen, yeah, Oregon won a natty. Auburn won a natty. It's not easy to win a natty, okay? OU was in position many, many times to win national championships. They didn't get it done, but that's why they're a blue blood. They were in position a lot. If OU's not – hey, I'll say this. If OU's not in the playoff in 2 years, BV, in my opinion, is likely gone.
Yeah, and did you already get Bobby's question here?
Next, Alabama, the Sooners are the greatest college football team of all time, and you're not far off, if at all.
Thanks for the super. Hey, Georgia went 40 years without a natty. 40 years. Okay.
Yeah, look.
My thing is, you can't. If you're a fan that is thinking that 8-4 is the best OU can do next year, the best, and that's what you think the best is.
Jay, did anyone?
You probably think Brent Venables should already be fired then.
Hey, did anyone think Washington was going 13-0, Jay? Was that the best they could do? 23 years is rough. I agree. I'm not saying it's
but
great.
How many chances did they have in those 23 years to win another one?
3 or 4 other ones, maybe more than that for sure.
Yeah, they just didn't do it.
Let's get to the schedule, Jay. Temple, win. Houston, win. Tulane, win. Tennessee is at home, correct?
Correct.
Win. Auburn on the road. You got to win that one.
I think here's the deal. That's the road game you have.
That's the hinge game. I think that's the game that gets, if you get to 5-0, that's the hinge game.
That's the one you got to win, because Ole Miss is going to be tough on the road. LSU is going to be very tough on the road. Missouri is going to be tough on the road.
No, it's going to be tough.
Right. So, you got to start 5-0.
If I'm picking right now, I'm going to say this. OU's going to start 5-0. OU may lose to Texas, let's say. There's a loss. They're going to beat the Gamecocks at home. Let's say they lose to Ole Miss. I think they have to split Ole Miss and Missouri.
Hey,
If you split, now you're changing.
Hey, Okie Lawn guy. First off, you can't say that's the best they can do because you don't know. Nobody knows.
No one knows.
You can say that's your opinion, but you can't say it's the best they can do.
In your opinion, that's the best. But I say if OU loses, I think OU has to split with Ole Miss, Missouri, and they have to split Alabama, LSU. Okay? That gives them one other loss on the year. Maybe it's Texas. So you're looking at a 9-3 if you split Alabama, LSU, and you split Ole Miss, Missouri. That's doable, guys.
You have to. Here's what really needs to happen. You got to win all your home games. You got to beat Alabama at home. You win your home games, then you can lose 2 on the road or 3 even at the worst. I mean,
the last season OU was dominating the road. I remember championship Novembers a lot, even with Lincoln Riley, bud. That hasn't been that far off.
Hey, Dayton, appreciate
thanks,
you, Dayton. Thanks so much. I truly believe that OU will win a chip in the next 3 to 4 years, not sunshine pumping, just what I believe. That's not sunshine pumping at all. I think that's a good point, Dayton, and I'd love to see it. Okay,
maybe Hunter
is saying his opinion. Okay, I get it. I thought you were saying that like fact.
Maybe Hunter can drop in the chat OU's road record, as far as under Lincoln Riley. Of course, under BV, it hasn't been great. He wasn't great last year, and this year, the road record wasn't good because it was 2 of their losses. I get it.
And I'm going to say this. Even though I picked Missouri to have a good year this last year, and they did, I'm not sold on Missouri. I'm
not either.
Are you?
Either. No. I'd be more scared of Ole Miss.
They're good.
Mizzou. They're good. Missouri's good.
Ole Miss is going to be really good.
Bobby said 11-1. That's not far off either. It's doable. Anything's doable, okay? Anything's doable. And Nussmeier looked better than Arnold in the bowl game. I don't know exactly what his stats were. He had a great second half, but look, we can't really count much on the bowl game, in my opinion.
Here's the deal, and here's Kim's right. You got to improve.
This is a great point, Kim.
Here's the deal. The defense has to be the leader of the team next year, in my opinion.
Has to.
You got to be able to hang your hat on defense in the SEC.
Absolutely.
Have to. And with everybody they got coming back.
I agree. Hey, anything else stand out, Jay?
Well, what stands out is it's going to be a busy portal weekend for Oklahoma, I think, visit-wise. I think they're going to have a bunch of guys in this weekend, and they got to land some. Jake Roberts, tight end, need a landing.
Do you think Zac Alley could be on campus this weekend?
Well, he can't recruit. He's not even hired yet.
That's my point. He's not hired. Someone said maybe 11 a.m. tomorrow.
I think an announcement has to come this weekend, doesn't it?
It has to, Jay.
And let's talk about this, Mess. I agree. I think he is going to change the mindset of the defensive line and the defense. I think he is. And not just him. You look at guys like Danny Okoye, David Stone, Jaden Jackson, Nigel Smith, Daniel Huntington. I mean, just these guys that are coming in, work ethic seems really good. And you got that matched. Here's the thing. You got the young studs coming in on defense, but you also have the vets, the big boys that have stuck around. Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, Woody Washington, Ethan Downs. These guys have been around for 4 years. And
I agree.
It's a great matchup, man.
How do you win on the road? Chad Gamble says it. Defense wins championship, and defense travels. And the fact of the matter is, OU's defense is very old, okay? Very old, and they have the young guys sprinkled in. So I think the leadership, the experience, where you're lacking maybe with some new coaches on staff, you have leadership in a lot of other areas.
Yeah, and I think somebody said it on here. I mean, my biggest question next year is I love Jackson Arnold. I think he's going to be outstanding. But he is going to be basically a freshman on the road in the SEC. That to me, I think he's really good, Jeremy. But I think there are going to be a lot of turnovers probably. I mean, he had 6 in the first game, last in the bowl game. I'm not saying he's going to have that, but he's going to have some struggles on the road. Do you agree? He's going to have a little bit of struggles.
Well,
any quarterback would. Any quarterback.
Jay, the schedule, as we saw earlier, sets up really well. And he actually had the 3 picks and the fumble, so he had 4. But listen, Blake, if you watched the game, which I'm wondering if you did, okay? It sounds like you did, but I'm curious. What was super disappointing, because the first 2 interceptions in the first quarter, he was late on, okay? He was late. That comes with experience. He can throw every throw in the book, okay? He can do it all. He can scramble. People want to complain that, well, he sat back behind the line of scrimmage forever and couldn't find anyone. He's not going to do it next year. He's a runner too. He wasn't running in that game.
Yeah,
you cannot base it off that.
Yeah, Ken, thanks so much. Thanks for joining tonight. You have a good evening. Hey, one thing that does have to be better, I think Mess said it in here, the run game. You got to be able to control the ball a little bit. And the O-line. The O-line waited way too long to get the 5 they were going with. Bill Beatenbow's got to get the guys, the 5 he's going with early this season, and they got to be running the ball well, because you can't just put your hat on throwing 50 times a game. You got to be able to run the ball. And in the SEC, go look at the teams that went over there. They can run the ball, most of them.
Yeah, as someone said, hit the like button. Appreciate you taking a minute, 30 seconds to hit the like button. We appreciate all you guys. This is a great point by Hunter. If you want to put that back up there real quick.
Sorry, I clicked off.
You got Terry, Lacey, Halton, Stone, Jackson, Nigel Smith. Even I think could get on the field, and we're not even mentioning some other guys who in the middle could play. I think they're deeper than people think on the interior. The edge is absolutely loaded. The edge room is loaded.
Yeah, the edge room is loaded. Lacey back is huge. Halton to me didn't play enough last year. Maybe they're just trying to get him bigger. I don't know the reason why.
Hey, and let me say this, Jeff. I'm going to disagree a little. First off, Jeff Lebby wasn't hurry up and punt. OU probably punted as little as anyone in America. Okay, so now the first year under him, it was more like that. But here's the other thing I would say: Seth Luttrell is air raid. He may throw it a lot more than Jeff Lebby did, which gets you off the field quicker sometimes. But as we heard, Zac Alley is used to that kind of offense. So there we go.
Somebody mentioned Junkins in here. I mean, here's the deal. I mean, even the Zalance Heard guy, Zalance Heard's not leaving LSU 5-star and not going to go get paid a bunch of money somewhere. So, and if he's visiting Tennessee first, I think OU's probably not getting him.
I thought people said Junjock has gone to Arkansas.
No, not Junjock. Junkins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I said Junjock.
No, somebody said he went to Arkansas. Is that correct? Is that confirmed that Junjock's at Arkansas committed? I don't
know, but obviously he's not going to OU because it's been so long that he's in the portal.
Correct.
They never really gained any traction on that. Honestly, Jay, I'm going to say what you just said. I'm not sure OU, BV, and them want to pay all these guys. I don't know if it's that they can't. I don't think they want to sometimes.
Hey, you says Heard will be here Sunday, but if he visits Tennessee on Saturday, he may not make it to Norman, is what I'm saying. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been that way before.
Yeah.
Hey, Kamori Moore is looking unreal in the camp he's at right now.
Is he a guy that's going to make it to Norman? I don't know.
He's committed.
A lot of that Lee Summit stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I hope he does.
I hear you, Jay. I hear you.
I hope he does. He looks real good.
So we do this every night, Jay. Dream scenario now. Dream scenario for this weekend. Zac Alley is hired officially. It's announced. If I'm picking an O lineman, I want Zalance Heard over Tarquin. But Tarquin is big. He's 6'5", 300. He's played the tackle position. On the defensive side of the ball, Jay, and listen, when OU won a natty 23 years ago that everyone says, they did it on the JUCO realm too. They had JUCO guys in that defense, and Dolby is one. And I'm not shutting the door on a JUCO possibility, or maybe what Zac Alley would even bring. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to think from the portal list. I think you're probably going to get a tight end.
It's not a tight end. It's Jake Roberts.
Okay. Jake Roberts.
There's no one else.
Okay. Well, okay, Jeremy.
That's who they would get at tight end. I'd be all for it.
Who's Joe C saying people shouldn't pretend he's a world beater? I think you're talking about Tarquin. Hey, I would rather have Lance Heard. I would rather have plenty of guys, but it is depth. It is depth, Joe C. That's what it is.
And Fox Moon's right. I don't trust USC at all with player development. So this guy, Tarquin, and we're ready for it if he is. If he's there, he's got the frame and body. I think he can play two sides of the line. So
and let me say something else is nobody thought McKay Matora would be that good, and he was pretty good.
First year he struggled a little,
but he was good this year.
Second year he was elite. Wasn't
and I think you're talking about Reed Adams, I think, Miss.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure. I would love to get Reed Adams. I think he'd be a good get out of the portal, but I don't know. I just don't know. I know he has a relationship with Emmett Jones, but
hey, I really like R. Mason Thomas and what I saw Infidel in the bowl game. That's what Infidel. Haven't you been waiting? Like, I think every Sooner fan has heard about R. Mason Thomas. They saw him. He kind of reminded a lot of people of a little bigger Eric Stryker. Everyone got their hopes up, and he hasn't panned out. But that was what I wanted to see.
And listen, for the ones that have jumped on here late, go back and watch about 15 minutes into the live. We had Thomas Ashworth on from the Anniston Star. He covers Jacksonville State. Talked to us about Zac Alley. Said that Zac Alley ran a lot of man coverage in the back end, which I'm pumped for if they're going to run more man. Because I think, honestly, I like the zone, but if you don't play it right and you're not good at it, you allow too many big plays. And OU in the passing game is ranked 109th this year. 109. That's not good. It's not good.
Three things I want to say. First, Blake. And I'm going to get back to Bastiat, Hunter. Blake, I rip you all the time, but I'll give you kudos here. Sometimes the RPO is not, especially if it's not run right by the quarterback, it's not good. I don't think DG was great at the RPO. Just going to say it. He wasn't. Is Jackson Arnold? I think he would be good. It's how much do you want to run him? The second thing is the comment on here about, and I'm going to go back and have to try to find it because there's so many great comments on here. I appreciate you all. Bastiat here about the pipeline. It's been 10 years since Bill Beadenbo's been here. I will say this, the 2024 class is going to be a pipeline, and it's going to be solidified for 2 or 3 years.
And don't forget the 23 class. Heath Azada, he's got some good ones in that class, too. They're just young. Hey,
who's Arnold's backup, Jay?
What?
Arnold's backup for Chad Gamble, new Sooner Surge Unlimited member.
Who is Arnold's backup?
It's got to be Hawkins right now.
Yeah, here's the deal. I've heard a lot of stuff on Casey Thompson, but here's what I think is going to happen with Casey Thompson. I think he's probably going to go to a different school, not Oklahoma. I think he's going to get offered to go somewhere else, and how are you going to turn that down if you can start somewhere? I'm hoping it's Hawkins. I'm hoping it's Hawkins.
If you can start somewhere, he's going to go. Otherwise,
here's the perfect
be a locker room guy, Jay.
Here's the perfect scenario. It's great if it's Hawkins and he can just learn behind Arnold and doesn't have to start games because Arnold gets injured. That would be great. Now, if Arnold gets injured, that's where it could be a very thrown into the fire type deal. But I think Hawkins is really good.
Yeah, I don't think Hawkins is ready for SEC. That's not a dream scenario for sure. Infidel, yeah.
But Josh Bates is?
Josh Bates has been here a year, Jay. Do not start this again.
Wow.
Idiot, Jay.
God,
Idiot.
I just say his name and you just lose your.
You're wrong. Hey, Infidel.
What cartoon is it where the steam comes out of your head? That's what you look like.
Hey, Infidel. If you go back and watch that clip of the guy from Jacksonville State talking about Zac Alley, the biggest thing that got me excited was the fact that he talked about how much man he liked to play.
Yeah. Hey, Clark. I understand your point. Listen, I do. I understand your point. And if you were to tell me the guy that went to Mississippi State, I can't think of his name, from Baylor, Blake Shapen, as a backup, okay. But listen, Casey Thompson, I love the guy. I love the family. He's been injured all the time. So I don't know how you could count on that to be your backup if he's been injured so much. But
what's a South Pole elf, Coconut Greg? What is a South Pole elf? Enlighten me. Joe C., you know what I'm going to say about this comment? Practice. We're going to talk about practice.
Yeah, we are talking about practice. Jeremy, here's what I'll say about Josh Bates. I think he's going to be outstanding. He should have played in the bowl game then. If he's that good, he should have played over Everett. Everett is not it.
Absolutely should have played in the bowl game, Jay.
So what does that tell you? Maybe he's not ready.
No, that's not it.
You don't know that. I'm not going to
I
get.
don't
I'm
know
not going
that,
to get into
Jay.
this with you. I'm not going to get into this with you tonight.
Okay, good. Don't.
You're angry elf. You're an angry elf, Jeremy.
I'm an angry elf. Everett's not it. You're right. Now, Eugene Brooks at center, Jay?
Do you think he'll play center? I don't.
Not early on, I don't think.
Joe C says Bates is third string. Who would be second string then?
Third string?
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree with that. We got Brooks, Eugene Brooks.
Eugene Brooks is signed.
Yeah, I kind of think he'll be guard. That's what I thought.
Bates to the portal. Joe C. Bates would have already been in the portal, bud.
I have not heard anything. Yeah, he's not in the portal. Not sure where that's coming from, but Trap House.
Okay, Jay, you take this one. What do you think?
There's some things I question about Bill B. Okay, I don't question that he has a great class coming in. I do question last year why it took so long for them to pick the 5 they wanted. That would be that's my only complaint is, can we get the 5 we're going with by game 1 so they can get more reps together? Because I felt like last year it was shuffling all the time. And you can say injury, but it really was an injury. I mean, Savion Byrd, why could they not get Savion Byrd figured out?
Hey, Jay, I don't know. But
I think Bill Beatenbow has a great class, though. And
Jay,
I think you cannot argue with him developing talent. Look in the NFL.
Listen, hey, and there's a couple people asking me something. I got to get at Trap House first, and then put Okie Lawn guys up here. But and Bobby, you're right. Great coach. I'm not going to say who'll be recruited because the class that's in this year is elite. Here's why I disagree, Trap House Boom, and I respect you. I love all your stuff, but here's the deal. Go look at stats this year. When they stuck with Gavin Sawchuk and they had the line, even it was those guys, he was averaging well over 100 yards a game. Second of all, DG did not get sacked much. So I actually think the O-line performed, in my opinion, pretty good this year. And then you go back at the lines with Lincoln Riley. I mean,
here's the deal, Jeremy.
I think he's not on the hot seat yet.
No,
I don't think he's on the hot seat yet.
Here's the deal. I think a lot of people don't give him a benefit of the doubt as far as what they went through when they went from Benny Wiley to Jerry Schmidt. He's basically having to recruit different guys now. And look, the class he got in 24 is insane. Now, here's the deal. Put that comment in there in 2026 if they're not have a great offensive line. Yes, because these guys should be really good.
Jay, Okie Lawn guy, 2 years for BV if he doesn't make the playoff, 3 years for BV if he doesn't win a natty. Actually, I'm not even going to say that. 2 years if he doesn't make the playoff. If he's consistently getting in the playoff and having a chance for a natty, why would you get rid of him?
Hey, you're saying if he doesn't make the playoff in 2 years, he's gone?
I think he's on the hot seat for sure. If you're not top 12 in America, OU in 2 years with these guys coming in, you're not it.
Well, they've got 4 top 10 classes in a row now.
So you should be top 12 in America.
You should. Well, I mean, stars matter, I think so. I think it was a combo of both, Okie Long guy. It was a combo of both. Running back, yes. But running back had the same problem about picking guys to play.
Hey, and I'll ask Jay, what do you think about this? You put a true serum in Bill Beatenbow. Is he for the RPO?
Listen, him and Seth Luttrell have a great relationship. I think that's why I think this year is probably going to be the best they've looked on offensive line in a long time. And Mark brings up Ohio State. Yeah. Nobody wants that to happen, do they? Fire Ryan Day. They're pretty good with Ryan Day. Here's the thing, though.
If BV makes the playoffs, they're not getting rid of him, Jay.
I think Ryan Day should be fired today for going out and getting Will Howard. That's your quarterback? That's your quarterback?
I think he'll be pretty good.
Will Howard?
Hey, Trap House.
It's Ohio State. Hey, You know who they wish they had right now is Quinn Ewers.
Probably. Jay, Trap House, I would agree with. I think Bill Beatenbow and Levy, they were in meetings with each other. I'm not sure how much they would hung out outside of coaching. I don't think. Now, I think Bill Beatenbow and Seth Luttrell and Joe John, those guys would probably hang out all the time. So there you go.
Do you hope that OU slows it down on offense?
I'm not sure about slowing it down. I would like to be more pro. I don't want to say pro style, but
I'd like to
more
slow
like
it down a little bit.
NFL,
I'd like to slow it down
a little bit. Win with defense.
I'd like to slow it down.
I can't believe Cam Ward's going to the draft.
Jason, Jeremy, you guys take care. I dropped a couple videos. Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah.
Put that up here.
On George Cumby and Rod Show. Take care, guys. Love y'all show.
Appreciate
Thanks, Sooner Legend. Thanks for being a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. And we'll check out that podcast for sure about
Correct.
George Cumby.
Correct. They are related by marriage. Hey, we've talked about this before, Jet. You can't really name even – there's not many just spread offenses that have won a natty. True spread, air raid. Is there?
Clemson
Name
spread.
one.
Clemson.
They weren't air raid.
You said spread.
I said air raid after I said spread.
Which one is it?
Air raid.
I don't know that any air raid offense has won.
LSU.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow. Or
I think that's probably the best. That's probably the best thing, Hunter, the timeliness on offense. Pick your spots to go fast. Right?
Yeah.
Pick your spots. Yeah,
Adam,
Trap.
you're right. Trap, love it, man. Your stuff's great, Trap. Keep it coming, man. It's great. Georgia blows people out without gimmicks. They're right.
If a gimmick is a sweep to the right and run it like Novocaine because it always works, you're right. But I don't know many gimmicks that they're running.
What's the quote from Remember the Titans?
We don't need trick plays. I don't need your playbook. We run 2 plays just like Novocaine. Give it time, it always works. Something like that.
That's right.
Hey, it's all fun, Okie Lawn guy.
Hey, you can't anger us. This is fun for me.
Are you kidding?
Care.
I don't get angry.
You know what? I'd be bored. It'd be boring if nobody did have disagreements. So bring it on. I love it, Okie. Hey,
look,
hey, let me say this before we get off here.
What?
Big game tomorrow in Norman. Huge.
OU Iowa State. I'll be at that game. Hunter will be at that game.
Huge game.
Jay tomorrow night will be on the live. I'll be driving back or may get on right when it starts. So,
and we'll be back on at 9:30 tomorrow night at the earliest, probably.
Yeah. Angry Jeremy, I appreciate that, Coconut.
I'm going to start calling you Angry Elf. I like that.
Do it. Call me Angry
You're
Elf.
about the size of an elf.
And you're smaller, bud. So let's remember that. Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
As far as, you talked about passion, and I think this is what OU, in my opinion, what OU has now gone to. And again, I hope we hear the announcement tomorrow about Zac Alley. Big kudos to BV. Can't say enough about BV if that's the hire. He has basically relinquished the duties to a young, up-and-coming stud out of Jacksonville State, giving him the keys to the fancy car. And I'm all for it. I'm all excited for it. And I think the passion, the culture, you heard the guy tonight talk about how he's got this big brother mentality. It fits BV to a T. Ted Roof. Look, I think there's probably some kind of this with maybe. I think you can't not get along with Roof, but there are some things he probably wish Roof would have done better.
I kind of wonder if it was more of Ted. I can't be all in on the defense as much as I have been. I need to relinquish a little bit of it to somebody. And I think he trusts Zac Alley to do that. You heard Thomas Ashworth on here. He said Rich Rodriguez didn't touch the defense. Not once. Said it was your baby. You run it. Rich Rod ran the offense. And I think that's a great thing. And yes, Infidel, 100%, million% correct. If BB wants to veto it, he will, and he should. I agree. But he can't be over on the sidelines in between when the defense is on the sidelines just doing everything. He can't do that as a head coach, I don't think.
No, I agree. You can't. Yeah, Mez. There's too many. I've used the analogy before. Too many plates spinning, and most of them aren't still spinning. They've crashed. They've broken. If he can get the one plate spinning, which is the CEO, and here's Steve Stutzman, BB will still have the spares. That's a great take. Hey, you're right. BB can veto anything he wants, but I absolutely love if Zac Alley is the guy, which it sounds like it's going to be. Again, it is a luxurious ride that he's stepping into with the guys returning on defense. And I think the culture there, it's set up. The players that they have on defense, the leaders that they have, it is set up to make a statement in the SEC. And I'm telling you again, BB still hears people say Big 12 can't play defense. And they're going to roll into the SEC with this luxurious car and show people that OU can play some defense.
Hey, Fred wants us to answer his question, but before we do, I got to say something. Jeremy, I think you mentioned last night about Lincoln Riley coming in at his age and for the offense. It's very similar in the fact that, do you remember what Lincoln Riley was handed? You're muted.
NFL talent everywhere. Guys that are in the league right now.
And what is Zac Alley handed?
On defense, he's got NFL guys all over it.
Correct. You got Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, Woody Washington, all came back, plus all the youngsters.
John Terry up the middle's huge for Stain.
It's going to be great to see what he does with it. I'm excited to see what kind of what nuances he has that him and BV can throw at each other. I think it's going to be great for both of them.
Hey, Infidel, the guy that was on tonight from Jacksonville
State.
State.
What was Fred's question?
Where was it? Go back to it.
What's that?
Go back to Fred's question. I didn't see it.
Do you take our defense for benefit playing an SEC with a lot of running offenses?
Now, here's what I would say. When Mahomes and when the offenses in the Big 12 are so elite running the spread, there's a lot of people who just wanted to talk the SEC up. And I was like, and I always had that opinion. It's a lot of run game. The SEC has gone a lot more spread, though. It's not the SEC of old. So I would say that, Fred. But I want to get back to Infidel, who said, who's going to tighten the zone up? Well, the guy who came on the program, again, if you didn't hear the first 15 to 30 minutes in, go listen to it. He said Zac Alley likes to play a lot. There's his Twitter. Likes to play a lot of man. He likes to get the secondary very busy so that he can bring more pressure. And look, if you have a Stutzman and a Kanak, I've said all year, Kanak going downhill and not having to be in zone coverage a lot is better for OU. Stutzman bringing pressure. And guys, look, Stutzman got a lot better in coverage. I mean, even in the bowl game, he flew back there and
with that pick six against Tulsa.
Yeah. So, but I love the hire as well. I think bringing a little more man and BB trusting that is a great thing.
Yeah, and I think hey, thanks, Selwyn, for being a member. Appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you.
I just think a young mind who knows the defense already, it's a win-win. I mean, it's a win-win situation. I don't think, Jeremy, you said a home run hire. I don't know how you can say it yet. I do love the hire. I would almost dare to say home run, but I'm just not going to say it until I see it. But I think it's a great hire. I mean, and probably wouldn't even thought about it until I saw his name. I mean, but he looks like the real deal from everything we've heard. So I'm excited, man, to see what he does with this defense. And like I said earlier, you're going to the SEC now. It's big boy football. You need to be able to hang your hat on the defense. And I think that's what's going to happen next year. You got a freshman quarterback. I'd say freshman. He's not. He played a game. He started a game. But a guy that hasn't played a whole lot of starts, Jackson Arnold, and the way Danny Stutzman did after the game leadership, I think Billy Bowman's going to be a big-time vocal leader. I think he's really going to step up. Woody Washington coming back. It's a lot of the defense, man. Got to hang your hat on him, I think.
And Okie Lawn guy, this is a good point. I think Kanak makes the jump this year. Look, he's got great leaders. He's got great leaders all around him.
Hey,
we know the athletic ability is there. He played pretty good, I thought, in the first half in the bowl game too.
Jeremy, if he doesn't make the jump, there's guys that will. So it's almost one of those things. Either make it or if not, you're probably going to get messed up. I think there's too much talent there in Norman on defense and offense that if you're not playing well, I think you're going to get passed up. I think there's that much talent coming in.
Yeah, and look, I think, and I agree, Steve. Look, he's got Danny as his mentor. A lot of people compare maybe the jump he'll make to the same jump that, Danny continued to improve on.
Yeah, but,
what, Jay?
Hey, let me say something about Kanek real quick. I think people forget that Kanek was really his first year playing full linebacker last year.
Yeah, he was key to his first year.
Yeah, but even before that in high school, he didn't play it a lot. So, and you're stepping into Brent Venables' defense. It's not like you're stepping into just a basic defense. So, yes, I think another offseason, I think he's going to be a lot better. I really do. Yeah, I think Kip Lewis and Kobe McKenzie will be a lot better too, and Lewis Carter. I think they got a lot of guys.
Look, and things will be easier, and everyone will look better if the defensive line is better, and it should be. The defensive line should be better.
He had a great bowl game.
He had a great bowl game. So did Kip. And guys, again, Ted Roof, Zac Alley, they're almost complete opposites in some phases. Not just by age, because there's like 50 years between.
They're half the age, 30 and 60.
Yeah, but pretty much 30 and 60. But also, Ted Roof, you can probably ask a lot of players. The guy probably can motivate really well. He's a great listen to guy. X's and O's guys, I'm not sure. I'm not around the program that much. I do know that this guy coming in, as we heard the guy talk about tonight, is going to be very energetic, very passionate, loves relationships. I just think people are going to, the players, they're going to love everything about him, Jay. And then the scheme. And then you add the fact that he knows BV's scheme so well. He's been around BV a lot of his life. They're going to use the same terminology. You don't have to reteach a terminology at all.
Hey. Yeah, I agree. Infidel. Yeah, Steve Stutzman says 86%. Hey, he played through a lot. And one thing you'll never hear Danny do, complain about it. He played through a lot of stuff this year, injuries. Just banged up and didn't really drop. He would say drop off for his standards, but still you really missed him. 2 games he lost, he was really not playing a whole lot, right?
Jay, so it's arguable that they may have been in the playoff with him.
Yeah, that's argument. Yeah.
And listen, look, hey, thanks to Don Dada Showtime. His name is Studsman. Listen, everyone expects, and here's what you can't do as Sooner fans is say, well, it's automatic, and the players aren't going to do that either. The work, but I think the leadership that they have is, the talent's there, we know.
Yeah.
But even bigger than that, I think, is the leadership that those guys bring. It's not just the talent they have; it's the leadership they're going to bring.
Hey, Hunter, maybe you can drop it in the chat there. But yeah, he was with Brent Venables 2 years as a graduate. I think he won 2 natties.
He was on 2 natties.
Yeah,
so. Guys, BV's not stupid. BV saw what it took at OU to win a natty, and he was at Clemson, and a large part of why they won the natty 2 years. He knows what it takes, and he's building it here with this staff, I think, and these players. And again, to be able to get those guys to come back. People want to keep talking about the portal, and I do too. Look, I want OU to get a couple more guys in the portal. I do. But again, I would give every one of those portal guys up for the 3 that stayed. You can't tell me 3 guys in the portal would. So it's a win.
Yeah, agreed. Just wondering when the OU of old is going to come back. I can't read that. Teams used to fear OU when they showed up. I think there are teams that still fear OU, Okie Lawn guy. But I also think it's a little different than the way it used to be. With the teams, listen, the days of 4 good teams and that's it. The transfer portal and NIL has opened it up where there's a lot of good teams. Now, might be only 4 great teams, but there's a lot of good teams. And you got to play at your best or you're going to lose.
And the years of shutting teams out, that look, you don't do that. I'll tell you the biggest, in my opinion, the best thing the defense did this year is the short yardage stuff. They showed that they can stop teams on short yardage. I about pulled my hair out the last 10 years. OU couldn't stop anyone on 3rd down and 20 or 3rd down and 2. they have made significant strides, and they're going to do it again next year, I think. I would be shocked if they don't.
There it is.
That's right. Hunter, you have the shirt. I know many of you have the shirt. Texas,
I got
here's
it.
you. And Steve, I got to ask Steve this. How unbelievable is the game next year at the Red River Rival going to be with Danny's quotes? I hope everyone's wearing the shirt down to the Cotton Bowl.
They probably need to sell it again right before the game.
Oh, God.
Do an ad on it. Do an ad on it. Put it out there. I think a bunch of people buy it right up to the game. Yeah, it was beautiful. Well, Germ, about an hour and 15 in.
Yeah, and Hunter, drop again in the chat here so I don't miss anyone. But we appreciate those that became members tonight to our channel, the $4.99 a month. That would have been Selwyn. That would have been Sooner Legend Podcast, Chad Gamble, and then Tanya for the super. Thanks. Sooner Legends also for the super. We appreciate you. The bomb, dropping a bomb for us tonight. The super of 1999. Bobby Redwine, thanks so much. Dayton Bolton, thanks so much. And again, for the Sooner Surge Unlimited members. We'll be on this tomorrow night, hopefully celebrating OU going 1-0 in Big 12 play, cementing themselves as another step towards March Madness in the basketball program. I expect to win. Appreciate all you guys being on here tonight, guys and gals. Big thanks to Thomas Ashworth for joining us. As far as the apparel, the store just closed. We might be able to open something back up again in the near future. Appreciate it. But thanks so much. Appreciate you all. Till next time. Boomer.
Sooner.